Thank you.
Good morning and welcome to the Arapahoe County Public Meeting today, May 26, 2020. And I'll call the meeting to order and introduce Ron Carl, our county attorney. And Ron, would you do the roll call, please?
Commissioner Sharp?
Here.
Commissioner Conti?
Good morning.
Commissioner Baker?
Good morning. Here.
Commissioner Jackson?
I'm right here.
Commissioner Holland is absent and excused, I believe. Yes.
Yes. Thank you, and please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Carl. Are there any modifications to the agenda this morning?
There are no modifications.
Thank you. I'll ask for a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Conti.
Second by Commissioner Baker.
Seconded by Commissioner Baker. Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Now, it's the time during our meeting where we take citizen comment. And if there are any citizens on the line who would like to make a comment, please do so now. And remember, it's *3 to unmute yourself. Not hearing any citizen comment, I will go ahead and close the citizen comment period and move on to the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Madam Chair, I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. Second. Motion made by Commissioner Conti, seconded by Commissioner Jackson. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. We have one general business item and one public hearing item. Our first general business is the fireworks ordinance adoption, and our presenter is Mr. Ron Carl, County Attorney. Mr. Carl?
Yes. The purpose of this general business item is to consider the adoption of proposed ordinance number 2020-01 regarding a ban on the sale and use of fireworks in unincorporated Arapahoe County. Notice of this hearing, along with a copy of the proposed ordinance, was published in the May 14, 2020 issue of the Villager newspaper. I believe it was also published in the Scout newspaper, although I have not received an affidavit regarding that publication as of yet. So this court has jurisdiction to proceed, and I would note that there is a motion in your packet if you decide to move to adopt the ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Carl. Are there any questions from the board?
Madam Chair?
Commissioner Baker.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that everyone who may be listening is aware that this is something we generally do every year, and we are not at this time banning the sale and use of fireworks during the period leading up to the Independence Day celebration. That would be done through resolution in the event we have a high fire danger. And I just wanted to make that clear because some people, some of my constituents out in the eastern part of the county were concerned that this was, in fact, the second step that we would need to take in the event of a high fire danger, which is banning the sale leading up to 4th of July. So we're not doing that at this time. This is something that we do fairly, at least since I've been a commissioner, we've been doing it every year. So I just wanted to make that statement, and I will be supporting this.
Thank you, Commissioner Baker, for that clarification. It's an important one. Any other questions? Okay, this is not a public hearing, but if there are any citizens who are on the line who would like to make a comment, I'll go ahead and we'll have some time to do that. But remember, *3 to unmute. Not hearing anyone, I'll go ahead and ask for a motion.
Okay, I was waiting for Jeff, but I can go ahead and make the motion, if that's okay.
Go ahead, Commissioner Jackson.
I move to adopt the Arapahoe County Ordinance Number 2020-01 as presented on today's date.
And this is Jeff. I'm sorry I was really slow this morning, but I will second.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Jackson, seconded by Commissioner Baker. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. And we'll move on to the public hearing, which is adoption of first quarter supplemental appropriation request. Our presenter this morning is Leanna Quint, Finance Department, and John Christopherson, Deputy County Attorney. Mr. Christopherson, would you set the foundation, please?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Pursuant to state statute, once the county has adopted its annual budget, the board may transfer appropriate monies between funds or between spending agencies within a fund, or if unanticipated revenue is received, the board may elect a supplemental budget and appropriation only after notice of the transfer and or supplemental appropriation is published. The record should reflect that notice of the 11 amendments to the 2020 budget was published in the May 21st, 2020 issue of the Villager newspaper. Therefore, the board has jurisdiction to consider these 11 amendments to the 2020 budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Christopherson. Ms. Quint, please go ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners. I have for you today 11 resolutions for the first quarter supplemental appropriation request, and these were all reviewed at the study session on May 12th. I will just highlight a few of them now. Among those requests include a transfer of $31,107 from the General Fund IT Department and to recognize and appropriate the same in the Central Services Fund to purchase additional storage capacity for the county. Transfer $61,545 from the Central Services Fund Sheriff's Office to the General Fund to move the funds for the license plate reader project. Appropriate $27,754 in the Capital Expenditure Fund Facilities and Fleet Management for the exterior light fixtures at the warehouse. Recognize $232,000 and appropriate $127,000 in the General Fund Treasurer's Office and increase the head count by 2.5 FTEs to accommodate the transition of the public trustees. Then this will also include a corresponding reduction in revenue in admin services of $105,000 to account for the excess public trustee fees that will now be accounted for in the Treasurer's Office. There's also a request to recognize and appropriate $3.1 million in the Homeland Security Fund Sheriff's Office for the prior year grant. Overall, this results in a net impact to the general fund of roughly $85,000 and an increase of 2.5 FTE, an impact of $28,000 to the capital expenditure fund, and a decrease of $10,888 to the ALEA fund, with a total of revenue budget cleanup of $3,061,549. With that, if you have any questions on any of the supplementals that I didn't cover, I could take those now.
Are there any questions for Ms. Quint? Okay, hearing none, This is a public hearing, so I will open this to the public. Remember *3 to unmute. If you have any questions, please go ahead. Thank you. And not hearing anyone, I'll close the public hearing. And I also want to acknowledge that Commissioner Holan has joined the meeting. If there are no further questions from the board, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair? Yes, I will move to adopt the 11 supplemental appropriation requests to the 2020 budget that were presented to the board at the fourth quarter budget review study session on May 12, 2020, and brought forward for today's public hearing for formal adoption.
Second. Motion made by Commissioner Conti, seconded by Commissioner Baker. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. That motion passes unanimously. This is the end of our meeting. Are there any commissioner comments? Okay, well, thank you very much. Thanks, everyone, for joining us this morning. I'll close the meeting. Thank you.